live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Carb Day today. Last chance to take your car for a little spin around the track before Sunday's race. My guy, Joseph Newgarden, fastest time, no surprise there. Tom, I'm a Newgarden guy.
He is.
Oh, God.
In a major way.
What a fraud. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you,
Tom.
Thank you for keeping it real. We're starting from the back.
Go out on a limb, why don't you? Two-time defending
Would he have
champion.
a worse starting spot?
Listen, I know we're out on remote, and I know Wilds hates it. But, man, if there was ever a time to get Tom Rinaldi's reaction to the Captain Easy stance graphic for Kevin Wilds, that would be it.
32nd place.
Tom, how's this
not
for
out
a
here
limb?
number one.
I got Stingray. That's who I'm picking.
Like
I'm
Stingray.
out there on the limb.
Go ahead, Kate.
We're welcoming Tom Rinaldi in. Tom, you've been, all over the country and world with great sporting events. What's your impression of the 109th Indy 500?
So this is my first time here, and it is really difficult to describe. To think that there's 100,000 here on Carb Day, guys, and then Sunday there'll be 350,000 sold out in the stands, Snake Pit, the entire 500,000 in the footprint.
Pretty
is
great.
Incomprehensible. I mean, when we think about the Big House or Neyland Stadium or what, that's 1/5 of the number of people that are going to be here. Incredible.
Yeah, that part is, when you compare it to anybody that's been to a sold-out, packed college football game, that feels like the biggest mass of humanity imaginable. And as you said, it's 20% of what's here. Have you also, and then we'll get to the stories you've been doing, but in your lead-up and preparation of everything, gotten the gravity of, no matter how much anyone's accomplished in the sport, how special this venue and this race specifically is?
I think you do, and I think one of the reasons for that, I'll show my age here, is because as someone that did not grow up in a motorsports family, did not really grow up in a part of the country, which, I'm born in Brooklyn and a Northeast guy, I don't know that motorsports really penetrated that part of the country, but the Indy 500 penetrates our country and the globe. Because in some way, cars touch everyone. You have some memory as you're growing up, your first car, someone in your family's car. There's something about racing and speed and cars that I think have a universal appeal. And then this is the pinnacle of that appeal.
No, that's absolutely true. So you've been doing a few features. One is Willpower, who's going to be starting last. So how's he dealt with that? And I know he's also gone through some things personally. So just tell us about that feature.
So certainly the controversy that's happened here with the Penske team has thrown a spotlight, which I think has gone well beyond even the largest audience in racing that comes to this, because people have been gripped by, wait a second, somebody got pushed all the way to the back. There's been a cleaning of the house of top executives. Penske himself is an obvious legend. Will Power obviously caught up in that with the attenuator. But our feature focuses on Will and his wife, Liz. Liz went through a profound health challenge just a short while ago. And as a result, Will kept racing. He went through a drought for the first time in his career. It really is a celebration of this remarkable bond of a husband and wife who met at the track, had their family grow through the track, and was challenged by something far greater than being pushed to the back of the grid Sunday.
Well, and that's going to air before the race?
That's in the pre-race show.
That's going to be excellent. You did one on also fear, and I'll just give you that has been a theme as we've had guests on. A lot of people come in, and I think if you're new to the sport, it's like, well, fastest car wins. But everyone is saying, like, different drivers, you have to be unafraid to go either into the wall if you want to win it, and how much risk are you willing to push yourself to overcome, almost a race against your own fear. So tell me about that's a theme that's come up with us. So tell me what you've heard.
So we spoke to about a dozen drivers. What an amazing opportunity to sit down with them. And we started each interview by saying, I'm going to say a word. I'd just like you to say the word back to me and tell me what it means to you. Fear. And the different reactions from the guys upon hearing the word. And then it's different dimensions for them. their own fear, their greatest moment of fear, getting back in the car after that greatest moment of fear, managing the fears of those who love them. All these different elements of fear. It was fascinating. And listen, we love all our sports, right? It's why we watch this show. We hear about hoop and football and baseball. But this is a different animal. To know that at 230 plus, you have to beat multiple opponents, but the one opponent that's always there is that wall. Wow. And when you strike that wall, right, as Joseph Newgarden, your guy, said to us, there's only two kinds of drivers, the driver who's hit the wall and the one that hasn't yet. And to know that you're going to deal with that and get back in a car at 230 after that happens is incredible. I think we are drawn to this sport, guys, let's face it, partially because of its danger.
100%.
And what we found out is the drivers are too. And I think it's one of the core parts that is so magnetic about this event.
Wow.
By the way, for people watching, part of the intro we didn't mention is that Tom Rinaldi has won 16 or 17, I'm not sure, Emmys.
17.
And that 90 seconds was a great example why. I am locked in, and I'm like, that's the feature's not even playing.
Our Emmy
right. Exactly. Maybe we can get our first nomination
Roger
just by
coattails.
riding his wave. I want to stay on the fear thing because and tell me if I'm wrong, my guess is most of the drivers themselves have, I don't want to say conquered it, but they know how to deal with it because they're race car drivers. I would imagine it's a lot of fear by proxy because of how their loved ones feel watching them. Did you get, and I don't want to spoil the story, but did you get any anecdotes or stories about people who the biggest battle they face is dealing with the emotions of their loved ones leading up to a race or during a race?
Been fascinating here. I'll just pick Will and Liz Power to go back to them. Will never knew what Liz looked like during a race until recently when he saw footage of her chewing through the plastic cap of a water bottle. And when he saw that, he felt this guilt that because of what we both love. Again, they met on the track. She worked for a race team originally, and yet she goes through that experience vicariously, carrying the burden of all those worries. I'll tell you another thing, Nick. Pato Ward, who's amazing, said, yes, it's fear, but if you can draw a clear line between fear and excitement, for me, you'll be the first one. I've never feel more alive than when I am pushing the machine to its limit. That's what it is to be alive. So if fear is a part of that, then that means I'm living.
That is incredible.
Great is that?
It's unbelievable.
I can't wait. All right, so Will Power's teammate, Joseph Newgarden, Wilds' guy, he's starting from 32, going to become the first three-peat champion.
Yep.
Have you heard about his confidence, how he can win even from the 11th row?
Listen, he is, win this race, right, without that kind of confidence. But now we talk so often about the psychology and the pedigree of champions. They've been there. Who's a clutch player? Who's existed at the end, all right? In the last 10 years, more than half the time, this race has been decided by less than 1 second. So if you're telling me you can't make that up in 200 laps for 500 miles from that spot, you should never get in the car.
He's my guy.
I'm telling you,
come on.
that's my guy.
Listen, I'm taking a nice underdog, and either Pelot's never won it or Sato, who just comes in, wins Indy 500's, and leaves.
Alex is no underdog either.
You've won as many Indy 500s as Alex has.
Bruce, my only guy here with the Stingray.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Credibility.
So Indy 500 Sunday on Fox, storytelling all day. So it's been great to see you again, Tom. Looking forward to those pieces.
Every time you come on, it's the highlight of the week.
We appreciate you guys so much. We got to get you out.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.